Hello everyone and welcome to the Bear Dimension. Now that you have learned a little bit about how to communicate with your teddy bear, it's time to start to get to know them. I've got Oso here because a lot of homes will have a Bearhoo. Oso is a Bearhoo. They're a very simple kind of bear. Their world revolves around simple things like cuddles, easy to get to know. And as I say, a lot of homes will have one. So that's why we've got Oso here today. And I'm just going to demonstrate how you might find out whether you've got a Bearhoo. So say you've got a little bear who's looking at you, happy smile, looks delighted to be there, always seems interested in what you're doing. Well, you can go up to him and say, Oso, do you see that big bird flying past the window? I don't know. Oh, fantastic. The bird flying past the window. But, subtle difference. Oso, did you see that great big cuddle flying past the window? Oh, a cuddle flying past the window? Yes. Excitement. So, you should see a noticeable difference when you use the word cuddle around those bears, because in their head pretty much everything you say will be cuddle, 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 just in their head, whatever you're saying. But then if you actually use the word, oh, lights up, because it's partly really why they're here. They're here to experience being loved, and the thing about a Bearhoo is that everybody loves them and they love everyone. So they're a great type of bear to have and pretty easy to get to know, which is why I thought we should start with Oso. But there are many other types of bear in the world, and I think we should go on to one of the other types of bear that are quite common, the Pessabear. Now, usually here is the original Pessabear. Well, I say the original Pessabear, but in my family, the original Pessabear. I have briefed him, actually. I have talked to him. I said to him, look, I don't want any of that looking happy on camera. I don't know even if you can, but if you can, don't do it, because it would ruin the whole thing. And he said, doing his best cross-face with the camera, so that's really very good. But we mustn't make him happy, because the point about all this is to try and demonstrate to you what a Pessabear is like. So with a Pessabear, you might get them a new jumper, for example. Looks rather good in it too. You might bring them a piece of cake. You might take them with you where you're going somewhere. You might include them in a conversation. Say, hey, Muesli, how's it going? How are you feeling? Do you want to come with me to the opera? Opera, mummy? Are we going to the opera? No, we're not. See, he knew that. He knew that we were going to the opera? Him? At the opera? I don't think so. You see, it's that sort of thing. So you have to try different questions out. And for a Pessabear, try telling them positive, lovely things. Hey, should we do this? You're looking rather good today. He's starting to wonder whether perhaps he does look good, but you can see, as instructed, he's like, oh, I might have looked good once, but that was a long time ago and those days are gone. Yeah, he's been excellent. Okay, rewinding a little bit. I have taught you to read your bear's expressions. They are language. So, obviously the first thing to do to find out if you've got a Pessabear was to look at the little face. And if we've got a little face like that, then there's a good chance. But it could just be that it's a bear who's looking a little bit downcast. Perhaps he's not happy about something. So don't mistake a Pessabear for another type of bear when actually perhaps they're just having a bit of a down day. So, what I want to show you here, talking of which, we have Mustardo now. He can look either way. So, yeah, he quite often looks a little bit cross, but not all the time when he's so lovely. But I digress. So that's where you just have to be a little bit careful. Is this actually a Pessabear? He's admiring himself in the camera, isn't that? Yeah. Or this is actually something else. And let's have Penelope. Now, she is an example of a very different kind of bear. We're not going to go into what type of bear Penelope is, because life should have a bit of mystery. But I'd like to demonstrate how you get to know bears using Penelope, because she does love to be involved. So, for example, you might offer your bear something. You might offer them a big bag of sweets. Big bag of sweets, Penelope? She's looking quite interested. Is it, Mummy? Too much sugar, not very good. Shall we write a story together? Would you like to do that? Oh, would she like to do that? She would absolutely love to write a story. Okay. What about trip out? Yes, she likes the idea of a trip out, or into the world. Trip to the garden centre. Garden centre? Oh, yeah, she's interested. This is... So actually, if you have a bear like Penelope, which you won't, because she's very special, it's very unlikely, but you might have, she will be interested in most things, really. So that's where it gets harder to understand, like, well, what do you really like? What are your likes and dislikes? And that is something basic that you want to try and find out about your teddy bear. So, like all good researchers, you should have a notebook and pen. And if you're like me, you'll have about 1,000 notebooks and pens, because there can never be enough notebooks. And you'll get one and you'll write it down, Penelope, and then you'll write down what does she like, what does she dislike, by asking her questions, by offering her things, taking her out places, see how she reacts. Something else you can do is put the bear in a different place than you would normally. So by the window, we'll pretend this is a window. By the window looking out. She's going to look happy though, isn't she? Let's use Muesli. By the window in the cold. Nah, he doesn't like it, does he? But the thing is, he probably wouldn't, would he? Because he's a Pessabear. If the sun was shining and it was toasty warm, he probably wouldn't be very happy. So that's where you have to use your discernment. There are some bears called snow bears who love snow, but only under certain circumstances. They want to be in all their layers, they go out in the snow, they play in the snow, and they come back inside with a roaring fire and a big bowl of warm soup with a crusty roll. Oh yes, that's how snow bears do snow. Snow bears do not do cold. So for example, if you have a snow bear, they'll probably want to be wearing a scarf, and if they haven't got a scarf, it's probably down to you to make them a scarf and see how they cheer up. You would never put a snow bear by a window unless it's really hot summer, and even then they'll be a little bit worried, you know, mindful of a chill breeze coming through the window. That is not the way to a snow bear's heart. They want to be somewhere cosy, perhaps on the bed, perhaps they've got their own blanket, surrounded by other bears, you know, in the hug for warmth. So there are lots of different ways that you can find out more about your bear. Let's go over them again. You can ask them questions. You can offer them objects, a book, cake, a ball, you know, sports, that sort of thing. And you can position them in different places around the room. But only that, bears will have, you will find, very definite opinions about the world around them. So do they like your room or your living room or the bathroom or the kitchen or wherever they're hanging out? Because some of them will be, oh yes, it's lovely in here, wherever it is, just because they like that. And other bears will be like, what colour did you paint that? Do you really want to plant that big in here? You know. And they will do the same with you and with your clothes. So they'll be looking at you, oh, are you going out in that? Or some of them will be like, oh, very nice. And then perhaps they'll sit up a little bit straighter. I want to accompany you because you look good. If you don't, however, look good. Say, for example, there were bears who objected to clashing colours, say orange and pink and purple and things like that, then they wouldn't do too well around here. But some of my bears, yes, they do have opinions of their own about certain things, but you have to look closer at the bear, because you might be at, Mummy, what are you wearing? but he might also be like, Mummy, what am I wearing? This is Mustardo's latest top. By the way, his candy stripe, you know, it can operate as a kind of a fun top for the holidays, as in the summer holidays, or a more Christmassy candy stripe. But I think you'll find that he's not terribly pleased that I have not made him a new one for the spring, something with flowers on it. Have I done it? No, I haven't. Are you pleased about that, Mustardo? Oh, I just wish you could see how he's looking at me. Oh, no. It's a kind of control drama face, like, no, no, you haven't, have you? But the more you get to know your bears, the more fun you can have, the more conversations you can have, and the more rich your life will be, and the more rich their lives will be, because bears take everything that you give them, everything that is around them, the culture, the language, the food, the decoration, everything, and they store it in their little brains. And when it is time for that life to end, which we will talk about another time, and they go back to the bear dimension, the Animar in the bear goes back to the bear dimension, they take all that with them. And that enriches the bear dimension. But more about the bear dimension another time.